So this is another lock I got at Habitat for Humanity. $3, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than trying to buy these cores at regular price. Now this one I have not been able to do yet. And partly because getting it to the place where I can get tension on it correctly is awkward. But it did not come with a key, so I don't even know if it works. I sprayed it with the Evil WD-40. And now I'm just trying to feel where those pins are. That one feels like it's... Do you know what I have in my pocket here? I have my pocket knife. This pocket knife is a hand-me-down from my father, but it has all of these wonderful tools on it. And one of them is a file. And maybe if I take my file to this one right here, I might be able to, like, maybe I need to, oh, no, it's working. I just want to round off that corner right there just a little bit so that it doesn't bind. And I want to round off this corner because it seems to bind. And if I ruin my pick, it really wasn't that expensive. But to make it just a little more, so that sharp edge right there also seems to cause me stress. So we're going to see if we can't. I have a better file in the garage, but this one's here. Let's see if this goes in easier now. Still not. But you know what? It is a little better because it doesn't stick like when I try to go back. I think this is the one that was really sticking on when I tried to use it. Now, there's a little bit of Cook fallacy in here. So the Cook fallacy, as I define it, said if you go cook something yourself, it's amazing how much better it tastes. Period. Unless, of course, you just completely screw it up. But I've seen people who hate different types of things like pork and beef. Like they cannot eat beef. They have to wear gloves to handle chicken. And unfortunately, that almost identifies who it is for anybody who knows me. Because it ain't me. It ain't my wife. And, but the cook fallacy just says that when you cook it, all of a sudden it tastes better. Because you're the one that did it, and you know what went into it, and you can therefore like it better. This is related to the wine problem. The wine problem is that you give wine to people who think they know wine, and you could fool them with something as simple as food coloring, and all of a sudden you can make a wine expert think they're drinking a red wine instead of a white wine, and they can start giving it all the notes of red wine just because of the color, because we are so sensitive to what we see and how we experience the flavor. This is so bad that I have a friend who did this experiment with his kids. He took lemon jello and he made one batch with just lemon jello, and he put red food coloring into the other batch, and he fed it to them, and they thought the red one tasted like cherry jello. And when you learn that it was just lemon, it is mind-blowing. My family tried we tried cola challenge. We went out and bought 4 different bottles of just cola. RC Cola, Shasta Cola, Coca-Cola, and Pepsi. And I was certain that I was going to be able to tell the difference between them. And then when I got to the blind test, the only one I got right was Coke. And that was just barely, because and we need to do it again with cans of the product, because we think the cans might be easier to distinguish versus 2-liter bottles. And we bought the 2-liter bottles from a place that may be selling aged bottles, so that the flavor may have degraded. But how that all applies to this is that because I modified this tool, all of a sudden it feels better, and that just means what it is. Although I still feel like it needs to be modified a little bit more. Oops. If ever you're doing this, there's 2 sides. If one side's not working, try the other side. This is like obvious answers to the world, but sometimes you got to remind them of the obvious things. Never be afraid to point out the obvious. Just know that you shouldn't point it out too many times in a row. So I don't know, does that show up here? Probably not. But this is the tip. Doesn't have sharp edges on it anymore. And those sharp edges were like, I don't know if that's what was binding it or if it was just me. But now it goes back and forth a lot easier than it did before. Not that I'm actually getting anywhere on this lock, but this pick suddenly went from being unuseful And I think I'm gonna have to. Actually, I'll do that right now. I'm gonna go grab. The lockpicking wire. Likes to use an emery cloth, but I don't have an emery cloth on me right now. But I do have sharpening stone, which is apparently still wet when I did other things. Now, if I'm clever, that's 600, and that's really all I want right now is the 600 grit. All I'm going to do is just and I could almost just sharpen this end just a little bit. Can you see the see? You can see that it's shinier now there, right? Oh look, I've got my sharpening stone right here. Maybe I should. Ooh, that's nice. Let's polish it just a little bit. Oh my God, that's so nice. And that doesn't work on there. I gotta go here. Like that. Like that. Like that. Anyway, this was supposed to be about lockpicking, but that was just me modifying my lockpick. I am trying to do stuff, and this is part of doing it badly. But to get to the point where you can do it well, you sort of have to start by doing it badly. Get all the advice you can get, listen to it, ingest it, know when to throw away the stuff that is wrong, but you're not going to figure out that it's wrong until after you try. And after you figure out that it's wrong, you may later realize that you were thinking about it the wrong way when they told you, when they gave the advice. I wonder if this light will... Oh, look at that. More light means Morse vision. That's enough for now. On to the next thing. Bye.